Righteous Force here, back at you. And this topic's gonna be, does age matter to God when you're dating? So this is that question. This is one of those things that the Bible just don't talk about. Does it matter when it comes to being in a relationship? Does the age difference matter? And to show how big is the age? Does the age difference have to be before it's too big? Is it 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? I mean, what's the limit? Obviously, the Bible don't really say it at all. They don't get into details with it. But as long as they're legal age, I mean, there's nothing wrong with dating somebody as long as they're legal age. Because obviously, you don't want to date somebody too young. Sometimes the age that are legal, like late teens, early 20s, sometimes even that age difference. A lot of these guys and these women, I mean, I should call them girls. A lot of them act like girls in that age. They're immature. So a lot of times, maybe you are that age. If you are that age, you may want to date somebody that age. So if you are in your late teens, in your early 20s, you may want to date somebody that's in their late teens, early 20s. So this one's gonna be more of a personal answer than a biblical answer because the Bible really don't talk about it. But I don't think there's anything wrong dating somebody that's, say, 5 years older than you or 5 years younger than you. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Obviously, when you're like 17, you don't want to date a 12-year-old. You really don't. When you're 22, you don't want to date a 17-year-old. But when you're 22, dating a 27-year-old, hey, I'll go for it. 27, still young. So in that case, 22, 27, those ages are pretty legal. So there's nothing wrong dating at that age. You can get married at that age. I mean, an 18-year-old could legally marry a 40-year-old. They could legally do it. Why a 40-year-old would want to be with an 18-year-old, I don't know. I mean, my dad was 40, I was 18. So, I mean, it's kind of weird. But it's your business. But we'll talk about the Bible now. The Bible don't really talk about age difference in the Bible, but it does talk about Abraham and Sarah. They were like 10 years apart, if you remember correctly. Because when Isaac was born, Sarah was 90, Abraham was 100. Yeah, I didn't make a mistake. I said what I meant. Abraham was 100, Sarah was 90 years old. My great grandparents aren't even 90 years older than me, now I think about it. Must have been weird having a mom that's 90 years old. I think my great grandmother was like 1 year older than that when I was born. Of course, she died like a good 15 years before I was born. So that tells you how old Sarah was compared to Isaac. She could have easily been his great grandmother. The Bible really don't talk about age difference too much. One time, somewhere in Genesis, because Judah had his son, I had to go back to the Bible. This is when Judah brother, I mean not his brother, but his oldest son, his firstborn son. But I believe his name was Earl. he was evil, so God killed him. And his brother Omar, he married his older brother's wife. But I talk about him in another video. I did in another video when I said it's jacking off a sin. And he got killed. You feel free to check that video out in my channel. It's jacking off a sin. I talk about it. But his youngest son, Judah's youngest son, I mean, he actually wanted to wait until he was older for him to marry his son's wife. So obviously, he must have been too young to be the husband of that wife. I'm guessing he was probably in his early 2 digits, late 1 digits maybe. Man, if he was 9 years old, that means she had to wait for a while until he was old enough to be a husband. But of course, back then, I imagine he probably did marry younger. Because remember, people didn't go to college back then. People didn't go to high school back then, so you gotta remember that. So I imagine they probably was pretty common to get married when you were like 13, 14, 15, 16. It was probably common to get married at that age back then. I'm just guessing. I mean, the reason a lot of us do wait to get married, because a lot of us want to go to college, get that career. But back then, people didn't really have all that. A lot of people worked on farms back then. Some people did constructions in the medieval times. Now you get to Jacob. Was Jacob older than his wife? We don't know if he really was. We just assume that he was. I bet everybody assumed that Jacob was older than his wife, that Isaac was older than his wife, just because Abraham was older than his wife. We just don't know. We really don't. Then there's David. I'm guessing he was probably a teenager when he got married to, I think her name was Michelle, Saul's daughter. I'm guessing she was older than him. I'm not really sure. So the Bible don't really give much examples when it comes to age, because it really wasn't that important, obviously. So this question, you're gonna have to go through your own judgment for the answer, for your own judgment. Obviously, there's laws saying you can't date somebody that's under 18. You can't get into like a relationship with them. You can't have sex with, say, in America at least, you can't have sex with a 15-year-old. I believe you can in China. But why would you want to have sex with somebody that young? I don't know. 15-year-olds are just too immature to be in a relationship with. Even when I was 15, I thought they were kind of immature. So obviously you want to stay away from that, because when you go to jail for that stuff, it's not cool. I mean, you probably never committed a violent crime in your life. All you probably did was have sex with a minor, but they treat you like you did a really bad crime in there. So you want to watch out for that. But to answer this question, I say it's better to date somebody that's like close to your age. I say try to aim for like within 5 years of your age. I'd say try to aim within that age group. So if you're say 23, maybe you should try to aim for somebody that's between 18 to like 28. You should aim between that age area. But sometimes things happen. Sometimes you're like 25-year-old. You meet somebody that you're attracted to. That person's like 35. I mean, go for your gut. Pray about it. Who knows? God might actually have that person for you to date, to get married to. I mean, 10 years, age different, it is a lot, but at the same time, I mean, you can actually grow old with somebody that's 10 years older than you. It could happen. Like I said, Abraham did it. Let me tell you a funny, well, it's not really funny. I was really pissed off at the time. So when I went to college, this was like 2005. Oh, I'm getting away my age, 2005. So there was this girl I like. Obviously, we were pretty close to the same age. We were born within a year of each other. Well, of course, I lost contact with her. I got back in contact with her with Facebook, which I was happy because I really liked her a lot. I was hoping to actually move forward a relationship. I'm just gonna call her MT. So I asked MT, I'm like, are you dating anybody? She's like, yeah. And at one point, I got kind of curious. I'm like, okay, she must really like this guy. He must be some young, handsome prince that she really like. I wonder if he's more handsome than I am. That's what I'm wondering. So I click on her profile. I'm looking at it. I'm like, this guy looks older than my dad. I didn't want to embarrass her. I'm like, is this guy really our age? I mean, he could have just been an old looking guy that was young. So I'm like, is this guy our age? She's like, no. He's 20 years older than her. I'm thinking, whoa. Obviously, I didn't think it's gonna last that long. I thought I had a good chance because I was better looking than this guy was. Plus, I'm a pretty friendly person. But just take a guess who she picked to marry. She married one of us. Just take a guess. Leave comments down here guessing who you think she married. And I'm going to tell you, she picked him. She didn't give me a chance. And to put it out there, he already had a kid too. My opinion, I think that was kind of foolish. This is my opinion though. I think it was foolish to actually marry that guy. I mean, he was older. He had kids. Me personally, I would try not to really date somebody that's that much older. I don't got a problem dating somebody older, but when there's like their parents' age, I try to stay away from that. So you want somebody that's gonna grow old with you, not somebody that's gonna pass away at the same time your parents do. You don't want that. So to answer this question, it depends. I mean, as long as they're legal age, I don't see anything wrong with dating somebody. I mean, it's your decision if you want to date somebody 30 years older than you. That's your choice. Just remember, if you're like 25, dating somebody that's 20 years older than you, that's like you dating somebody that's 5 years old right now. And I'm running out of time. So you like my video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. And remember, you're free to date somebody whatever age you want to. As long as they're legal age. Because I don't think God really wants us to date somebody that's a minor at all. He does not want us dating somebody that's a child. Seriously, I don't know why a grown man will... hang on.